Some of you have been wanting to hear from your ancestors, from those that have crossed over. Believe it or not, some of your ancestors, the ones that have crossed over, have been communicating with you all this while, but you have not realized it and made that connection. But I'm here as a channeler to relay the messages that you need to hear from your ancestors right now. Okay? Take a few deep breaths, release. Inhale through your nose, okay? Exhale through your mouth. Generally speaking, you don't always have to use your mouth. You breathe and you release, and inhale, exhale is generally here, right? But some of you, I'm hearing a combustion. So some of you are really full and you need to exhale through your mouth. So I'm going to do it with you one time, okay? That felt good. You can do it a few more times while I set up. But some of you need messages, okay? Some of you need messages, and as a matter of fact, I'm gonna go light a candle, okay? 1 minute. Some of you, okay? Some of you have been asking, what do they want to say? What my grandmama want to say? What does my auntie want to tell me? Okay? Some of you are adopted and you may not know who your father or your mother may be, the biological ones, right? And you've been seeking for those answers on, if I was raised by them, what would it have been? What would have been, how would my life turn out? You know? What type of habits or beliefs or culture adaptations I would have had, right? What type of traditions would I have had by now? Why do I keep going to this particular herbal shop? Why am I so drawn to crystals? Why do I like herbs, and why do I love cooking so much, or playing outside, or having so many plants, right? You may be looking for that connection of why you like what you like, or why you're so intrigued or fascinated by certain things. They're listening, they're watching, they're surrounding you. And you will know if these messages are for you if you do not feel fear. If you're coming to these messages and you feel fear, this ain't for you. Okay, so this reading is in regards to what your ancestors have to say, okay? I am a medium, okay? And I do connect to different dimensions, okay? Those who have crossed over. I am a channeler, as I mentioned before. So let's get into it. Of course, you know I like to do my prayer. If you're new to this, okay, welcome. But every time, for the most part, I take a moment, whether I say it or not, I do a prayer, okay? However you resonate, if you believe in doing something else, that's perfectly fine. This is just what I do, okay? So, okay, so the first thing I heard, one of the first things I heard was the number 7, okay? I did tap in and notice an energy of like a grandmother, okay? An indigenous grandmother. I also tapped in and sensed the energy of like Haitian energy, okay? So some of you may have a Haitian lineage, okay? And I'm hearing the word provocateur, okay? I also hear Masonic. Some of you have Masons in your family. Masonry, okay? I'm also hearing Masonic Lodge or Temple. I'm hearing both of them. Okay. Okay, and I just heard ring a bell. So some of you actually need that may be a message for you or confirmation. Some of you may have a lineage or a past life connected to magic and connection to Haitian voodoo. Okay. Priestess, like Ifa, priestess type energy. I'm hearing priestess. So some of you are experiencing not so good fortune. Some of you may even call it bad luck, misfortune, okay? And from what I'm gathering, it is because you have not properly connected with your ancestors. So some of you, it may resonate for you to have an altar, an ancestor's altar. Some of you may need to pay some tribute or some honor towards your ancestors, okay? Some of them really feel like you haven't acknowledged them, okay? I'm also hearing that some of you feel ostracized, like an outcast from your family. Some of you don't realize This is what I'm getting. Some of you were placed in certain families or bloodlines that y'all may not even really have a connection. You may actually feel like you were planted, like you were a plant. You were planted in a family that you have no form of connection with. It feels almost foreign, okay? And that is because that is true. Some of you may have been in blended families. Some of you may have been raised by someone that actually you have always known them to be your parental, your guardian, your parent. But genetically, they are not. So you may even discover this through your research, whether you take a blood test, DNA, whatever. You may actually discover that some things have been hidden from you in regards to your lineage. That these, in fact, may not be your parents. They may not even, you may have been adopted and you may not have known. I'm even hearing situations where you possibly may have been switched at birth. Okay. Now, this is not current energy in a sense of this is February such and such, February 15th, 2023. This is a timeless reading. Okay. Okay, I'm hearing 6 corners. I'm hearing 6 corners, but I'm seeing 5. So something in regards to 6 corners may be of significance. Some of you may be connected to cooking in cast iron skillets. Okay, and that is ancestral. See, sometimes when we operate, we think we're operating alone. But because we have bloodlines, our ancestors are in our veins. They're not just spirits walking around. I hope you don't think that. They're not just walking around idly. So whenever we go through a certain bloodline or we have a certain bloodline, they're actually within our DNA. So some of the things that you may be operating in or you may purchase or you may have a taste for, some of those things are from your ancestors. Okay, glove box. So the compartment in your car, your vehicle, you may need to look in there. There may be something there in there for you. And I'm also hearing that it may be a thing where some of you may hold something sacred in the glove compartment box. So that glove compartment where, I don't know, you may put a picture there, a certain item, like some form of memorabilia, okay? Or you may have misplaced something. Something is significant within the glove compartment box, the glove compartment within your vehicle. I'm also hearing the song from the Dungeon Family, 6 Minutes. So you may want to listen to that song. You may already be connected to that song, but I encourage you to check it out if it resonates with you. I'm also feeling like some of you are feeling hemmed up. Your ancestors are actually seeing that you feel like you're in a position where you're restricted. And I'm hearing them say, call on them. So you can activate them to operate or work on your behalf. Okay? They are part of like your spirit team. Okay? Your guides. They're not always like angels or some form of deity or what have you. What we fail to recognize is a lot of our power, yes, is within us. And again, it's all connected. Our ancestors are running through our veins. But you have a lot of power in your possession in the sense of your ancestors. And before you even subscribe to a certain religion or belief group or whatever, or associate with a particular deity, acknowledge your ancestors. There is so much power and comfort in acknowledging your ancestors. Okay, and I'm hearing familiarize. So the more you acknowledge them, the more they'll become more and more present, the more you'll be able to recognize their energy and become familiar with their energy. Okay, sometimes you may hear a certain song. Sometimes you may see some form of synchronicity, whether it's numerically, like a number, or whether you see a certain symbol. All these different things are letting you know that they're here. Some of your ancestors are actually, I'm seeing a child. So you don't even recognize her. You probably do, and you probably dismiss it. But some of those behaviors or traits that your children may have and they may express, that's an ancestor. Okay? Especially when you say like old soul or you've been here before. It's not necessarily always past life situations. It can also be an ancestor coming through. Okay? The land of milk and honey may be of resonance to you. I'm also hearing that some of you have been questioning or having some form of withheld judgment on something, and I'm hearing that you need to go for it. This is your confirmation. I'm also hearing the saying, don't bite the hand that feeds you. So some of you are experiencing that as far as you doing that to someone else. Like, okay, you don't realize how much I've helped you, how much I've been there for you, especially if it's family, and you're shutting up shop, okay? You're closing shop with being the one that helps and overextends and always find a way to make one for others, right? Spirit and your ancestors are encouraging you to do that because that overflow that you have as far as your abundance, as far as your stock, I'm hearing, you're wasting it, and I'm hearing you're wasting your seeds. Okay? That's why you have not had a productive harvest, is because you're being irresponsible with your seeds. Okay, you're wasting your seeds on individuals that need to learn lessons, that have karmic, situations where they need to learn the lesson, that they keep failing because you keep intervening on their behalf, trying to help them, but really it's messing up your situation because you're messing up someone else's karmic lessons. Okay? Some of you need to tap into doing more spiritual protection. Some of you have gotten lazy or too relaxed as far as your spiritual protection. Some of you need to balance your crown chakra, okay? And that's this area right here, your connection to God, source, spirit, universe, your higher self, okay? It's about being at one, being non-attached, but at one, at peace, okay? Like a spiritual love, a spiritual connection. So if you resonate with being a Christian, if you resonate with being a Buddhist, whatever type of spiritual connection you may have, even just like your higher self, that you need to reconnect with that and stimulate that, okay? And that is one way to like really connect with the spirit realm. You know, we always deal with the physical as far as transactions. You know, I'm hearing transactional love, but it's something about that spiritual love, and I'm hearing even agape love, where it's not always about the material. You get what I'm saying? It's a higher, deeper, pure love. And I just heard let it rain. So for some of you, I don't know if you are familiar with this ritual, but some of you, I'm seeing that you have some ritual that you already know. This is not for someone who doesn't know a certain ritual and y'all want answers on how to do this ritual. But it's in relation to pennies, okay? So some of you need to do that. That will help bring in your finances, okay? If that rings a bell, then it's for you. But again, this ritual is not for those who like, oh, I wonder what that is. I want to do that. You know, if you doing that, that means it's not for you. If I drop that message off to you and you like, oh yeah, I do need to do that, or I'm familiar with that one, then it's for you, okay? Some of you may have a Jamaican bloodline. I just heard the song, I shot the sheriff, but then I shoot the deputy. So I think that may be what, Bob Marley? So some of you may have Jamaican lineage. So far I'm seeing the Caribbean, like indigenous ancestral lines, ancestral bloodlines. Okay. I'm a lighter because I keep doing this with the lighter. So that is of some significance. Blue book. Blue book. It may be a literal book, maybe even like a Bible, or it may be a thing where like even because I'm seeing see the value. So it may even be a Kelly, what is it, Kelly Blue Book, where you can actually see the value of a vehicle, because I'm hearing see the value. So some of you maybe due for another vehicle and you want to see the trade-in value or what have you, or you're even researching vehicles. Look it up, okay? Look it up so you can see what it is. One of your ancestors may have that ancestor had good penmanship. Like I'm seeing like scripting or like cursive handwriting. So some of you may have had like an ancestor, an auntie or an uncle that had really nice handwriting. And I just heard write them a letter. And a handkerchief may be of some significance as well. A handkerchief. So a handkerchief is like a cloth. You know, sometimes the handkerchief can be made out of silk, cotton, you know what I mean? Sometimes the handkerchief was used to put food in there and wrap it up. Sometimes it was used like being on the rag, what they call back in the day. But, you know, for the menstrual cycle, sometimes it was used for blowing the nose, you know, or putting in a coat, jacket, or, you know, in the pocket of the coat or the jacket, okay? I'm seeing some film or some like an old movie like 1930s or so, 1930s, 1940s. And I'm hearing the music just playing as far as back in the day where, you know, those black and white movies that kind of had that distorted like looking film. You know, the movie looked distorted a little bit. And they used to film the movies and wheel it like this. So I'm seeing like some form of connection back then, like Louis Armstrong type visuals I'm seeing. Some of you even have that. I heard Harlem Nights. So again, that can be Harlem Nights. I'm hearing Harlem Renaissance. Okay. Some of you celebrate the Day of the Dead. Okay. Or even Mardi Gras. And I think it's that time too for Mardi Gras with the masks and the skulls and all that. So there may be, you know, a connection right there. So I'm just going to see if there's any other messages as far as what you need to hear as far as your ancestors. I just heard write it all down. And I heard will and testament. So some of you is writing all down in regards to some actions you need to take next as far as legalities, legal matters. And there's also what I'm seeing like legal, like the will, okay? You need to review your will. You may need to make some updates to your will if you already have one established, where you have to make sure I'm hearing trust, deeds. So, you know, you can get legal counsel however you see fit, but I'm hearing that you need a trust and you need to look into the deeds of the homes or the properties or what have you to make sure everything is proper, okay? And I'm hearing purple and lavender. Even though they're in the same family, I'm hearing two. So purple and lavender. Labyrinth. Labyrinth. That may be of some form of significance for someone out there. Labyrinth. If you feel guided when you go to a crystal shop to get this particular stone or item that's within this crystal shop, get it. It's been standing out and you've been kind of, I'm hearing neglectful, but not, you didn't get it. And you keep visiting this crystal shop. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a crystal. Even though I do see a crystal, because I'm channeling as far as a collective, it may not even be necessarily a crystal. It may be just an item out of that crystal shop that, you know, they may have other things within the crystal shop. I don't care if it's like a spiritual shop, like a botanica, or, you know what I mean? Like one of those type of spiritual stores. And there's an item that keeps standing out to you and you keep like, why do I want that? Or why do I keep looking at it? Why am I drawn to it? Get it. I'm also seeing someone wash money. Now, if that has something to do with some legal stuff, that's up to you to take that information. But I'm also hearing, I'm literally seeing someone wash money. And I'm hearing the song with Solange where she says, with the Florida water. What is that song, man? I can't think of it. Not even in the Florida water. Not even in the Florida water. Anyway, if that song rings a bell, like, you know what to do. Okay? You know what to do. I'm also seeing crushed eggshells, okay? Like in a powdered form. And I'm seeing the word for it, but I don't know how to pronounce it. But some of you need to use it. And I just heard purification. So if you're already familiar with that, go with it. Okay? Go with it. Some of you have 5 ancestors that are really prominent in your spiritual journey. Like, you can tell that they're around you, they surround you. There are 5 ancestors. And you already know it off the top of your head. You already know who they are. There's 5 ancestors that are watching over you and they're protecting you. Okay? Don't be afraid. Like, you don't need to be nervous. But they're surrounding you, and they are for your highest good. They are for your highest good. They look out for you. Are there any other messages? This was like pretty dope. So I usually do messages like this, like on one-on-one, but I felt really guided that I needed to do an ancestral reading and tap in as far as messages that you may need to hear at this given time. Okay, that you need to hear. Okay. I heard close the door. So some of you are keeping a door open, not literally, even though I'm seeing a literal physical, like a physical door. I'm seeing the door is more so spiritually or energetically with a connection. It's time to close that cycle up. It's time to close that door. All that what you need to see and experience is done. And sometimes we get caught up in that based on familiarity and comfort and codependency. But it's time for the new. Okay, you've been given a key already. It's already in your possession to unlock another. And I just heard the right key. Okay. So that's all I have for you. Feel free to let me know how you vibe with this type of reading. I really did enjoy this. There were a lot of messages. And if you're not familiar with my channel, again, I am Amethyst Goddess from InAlignment Ministries. As far as contacting me, booking a session with me, all that information is within the description box. So that's all I have for you. Be well. Take care.